Hi, this is Mike Human of G2M Research. I'm here at Flash Memory Summit 2019, and we are doing our In the Hot Seat interviews, talking about what's hot and what's not in technology.
Mhm.
And with me from Viking Technology is Raghu Kulkarni. Raghu is Senior Director of Emerging Technologies at Viking. Nice to have you here.
Nice to talk to you.
So tell me a little bit about what you guys are announcing at the show and kind of what your focus is from a company perspective.
Right. So, Viking has been coming to the FMS shows from quite some time. It's been like a routine thing for us. This year, we are talking mainly about the integrated NVDIMMs. It's a persistent memory. Integrated NVDIMM is where the super cap for the NVDIMM is on the module itself. And this is kind of a unique thing. No one else in the market has that.
Very
This is a
neat.
Viking thing. And the second thing, we are also kind of conveying a message that, hey, Viking is kind of going the direction of industrial embedded markets. So we're coming out with our MCP packaging product, an SIP kind of product. So there's a lot of things that we are going to be focused on embedded markets.
Okay. And so embedded, that could be aerospace, could be self-driving vehicles, industrial control systems, anything along those lines, I assume, right?
Absolutely. So what we're targeting is, industrial, defense, aerospace,
Nice.
where the temperature is a must, like a wide temperature. We go all the way from minus 40 to 85 C,
Wow.
go to 105. There's also a lot of ruggedization, security. So we're building SSD and DRAM products that are kind of geared towards that market,
Okay,
and
excellent.
that's where we are trying to introduce some of them.
Very good, very good. So I assume we're going to see you at some defense shows sometime in the future then, probably, right?
That is on the horizon. Absolutely. Yes. Uh-huh. We're going to be getting more into those kind of
Okay.
activities and shows. Yeah.
So obviously one of the big things in this show over the past couple of years, and it's gotten bigger every year, is NVMe, right?
Uh-huh.
So what are you guys doing with NVMe? Do you have any announcements around anything you're doing particular there, or?
What we're doing with NVMe is a good question. So Viking is a product company, although we don't have our own controller. But we take advantage of the fact that we don't have the controller, which means we can go to any controller company,
Okay.
and we are actually kind of work with multiple NAND vendors as well.
Right.
So what we do is we take the controllers from either of the vendors and build products around that.
Okay.
So we have NVMe products already, in the M.2 form factor, U.2s.
Okay. Excellent.
We go from all the way from lower capacities, which is kind of geared towards the embedded markets, and we can go all the way up to 16 terabyte SSDs.
Wow.
So that is one of the things that we have the luxury of doing. We can have best of all the worlds. That's
To say you can
available.
do best of breed and kind of pick the right piece for the right application.
Exactly.
Excellent,
Exactly.
excellent. So tell me a little bit more about what you're doing on the NVDIMM side. So the persistent memory kind of piece of things was something that they had prior to the start of this show. They had a short session on. And it's been a technology that in some ways has kind of been looking for the right application. You've seen
Exactly.
Intel talk now about about storage vendors using it in part of their arrays. What are you guys seeing on the embedded market as a potential use for NVDIMM?
So Viking has been I should say, a pioneer in persistent memory and NVDIMM-N product,
Okay.
which is kind of the introduction of the persistent memory product line in the industry. So we, announced a product back in the DDR2 timeframe with an NVDIMM, and so the ecosystem for something like that has been a challenge to grow.
Sure. Sure.
But with the help of Intel and other, the big industry players, we've been able to build a ecosystem where you can plug an NVDIMM into a normal server or a storage box, and like a Windows or a VMware or a
Sure.
Linux variants are available. So it is kind of becoming a plug and play,
Right.
which
Right.
was not a few years back. That's one big takeaway, which is kind of actually paved way for an Optane kind of product. Even Intel's the DC persistent memory,
Right.
the
Exactly.
Optane persistent memory DIMM form factor, I mean. So now can plug into an NVDIMM, can I
Yes.
take advantage of the same ecosystem. So I feel this persistent memory has a long life, and we are, kind of starting to scratch the surface of it. There's going to be more physical medias coming into play. It's not just going to be just a flash base or a DRAM. There's
Right.
other media technologies like an MRAM or a resistive RAM.
Right.
There's going to be more innovations going on in the new bus and interfaces. There's like a Gen Z, there's CXL, there's OpenCAPI, CCIX. If
Yes.
there's an NVDIMM-P standards coming out. So it is going to be interesting to watch in this space how, which media goes with which bus and interfaces, and what kind of products, the companies are going to be coming out with.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. If you look at the fact that Intel is really pushing this and has put in the two different modes of operation right in the processor, right? It certainly makes it more of an out of the box experience. We're used to talking about out of the box drivers and things like that, but
Right.
something that works out of the box with the hardware that's there is certainly makes it a lot easier to deploy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent.
It makes a lot of sense like that because all the products that you think of on the storage side, right? I mean, starting from SATA, SAS, NVMe,
Yes.
it was almost plug and play. So you plug it in. I mean, of course, there's a lot of work
Yeah,
gone
in the
behind
back.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to make it
But
that
when
way,
the
but
product
yes.
is released, you have
Yes.
something that you can plug into. So persistent memory has kind of reached that spot, so which is very encouraging.
It's very good. So, are there any other things you want to talk about that you guys are announcing at the show, or any hot new things that are coming up?
So there are a couple things, like I mentioned, on the embedded industrial defense aerospace kind of market.
Yes.
We have quite a few things in the works, and in the coming months, we will be announcing more products. It's going to be
Excellent.
more on the parallel cell MCP kind of products, where DRAM and a flash, or just the DRAM itself, is going to be packaged into a small footprint. Like instead of plugging an 8 gig DRAM
Right.
module, you're going to have an 8 gig in a small form factor, like an infant
Very
form
nice.
factor,
Interesting.
which is like really a compressed um, uh, DRAM, I should say.
Right. Right.
And that's actually kind of geared towards market where um, swap as in size, weight, and power is
Yes.
of more importance,
Yes.
and that's kind of the market that Viking will be looking into.
Well, it's certainly something that is the form factor is more of a board down sort of form factor as opposed to a stand-up module makes it more rugged too. Certainly.
Exactly, that the
Very good.
ruggedization is one of the key things over here. right?
Excellent. Well, it's great talking to you, Raghu. It's always fun. Thank you very much for appearing in the hot seat. Hopefully, it wasn't too hot for you.
Now it's perfect temperature. It was ambient temperature, so nice talking to you. Bye.
Yeah, but yeah, at least you guys have the modules. You can work in the hot environment.
Yeah,
So.
we're used to that. We work on those. We thrive
There
on
you
those.
go.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you.